welcome to Let's Talk Stupid. I'm Compound.
And I'm Proud. And today it's just the two of us again. And today's topic is...
Superpower! Yay!
Yay!
You know, that's so cool because... I've just watched a lot of superheroes movies. For example, the one on some certain application that did not pay me to do so, to say what their application name is. And I really enjoy that. I really entertain the thought that maybe someday I'll have superpowers too.
Yeah, that's also like one of my dreams too. So, before we begin our episode, the usual question for this week is, like, what if you have a superpower, which one would it be? And, like, describe it. So, do you want to go first, Compound?
Of course. Well, if I can choose any superpower, I think I won't choose time traveling because that's going to give me a lot of problems. I will choose... wait. Let me see my script. Okay, I'll choose invisibility because it's cool to just get around and it will give me a lot of jobs, like being a spy or, just run out of schools without everybody noticing. Yeah, that's cool. I prefer to stick it low-key, if we got like superpower that are too powerful, people will try to eradicate you, so...
So, for me, well, let's give some opinion about compounds first. I think it's cool, but also it's a very sneaky skills. I think if it's in a wrong people's hand, then it could be scary. Like, you are invisible, you can walk basically anywhere without people noticing. But also it could be scary for you as well. Like, if you're walking around and like people throw some stuff at you without knowing you're there. So.
Yeah, true. But you could get in like the plane and like basically stay in the bathroom while the rest of the flight. And if people come to the bathroom, you just gotta tolerate it.
Oh, but like the aircraft restroom are usually like small, so you have to squeeze yourself in with that person. Oh my god.
But I'm pretty sure there's like empty seats at first class anyway, so like you can sneak there.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Wait, that's a cool idea. But I think you will be... But I think you will be detected by like those heat something, right?
Oh,
like
yeah,
heat camera. And everyone will think that you're a ghost because of like your silhouette looks like a human, but you're not really there.
Yeah, true. But like also airport security might be too good. So we can just visit the cinema and watch free movies.
Yeah, that's easier. Way easier. Okay. So, for my superpower, I want to be able to manipulate time. But hear me out, it's not like time traveling. I don't want to like move back or move forward. I just want to pause and resume. And the reason is like that I really like the scene from Doctor Strange where he was sleeping, but his soul is just like reading books. I think it's very time efficient. And I just want that to be like my life. So I want to like pause everything, pause the universe, pause the whole thing, and like clear all my tasks, and then like hit resume, and it'll be like, oh, we're back. I can sleep or something like that. But I want it to be like, if I pause, even though I pause, everything, the state of everything stays the same. Like my age, my hunger level, and everything like stays the same, so that if I like paused for too long, I will become older than anyone. So yeah, I hope that everything, because, well, I think it makes sense if everything stays the same, because like basically I pause time, so my age should probably stay the same, right? And when I pause everything, I want to be able to like allow other things to move. Like I want to have a secret meeting with Compound, for example. I can like unfreeze Compound and like we can talk. And I've thought about it, and I feel like this superpower can like be very cool in that I can like negative select by like unfreeze everyone except one thing, and that thing will pause while everything like stays the same in age and things like that. So I think it will be useful when it comes to like stopping wildfire. I can like stop the fire and let like the fire, right? So it can be easily distinguished and things like that. So yeah, that's the power I really want to have.
That's so cool, but like, the Doctor Strange sleeping and reading scene, I would prefer to just sleep. I don't want to read or do anything else because sleep is like basically resting time, right? And also the problems with like the idea of having the power is cool, but I've seen a lot of like ideas of like manipulating time comes into practice is that it changes your life. It makes you feel like you can get basically anything because you have the time to get it. And that's kind of scary because, a man once said that if you get everything you dreamed of, that's actually a curse.
Because, like, you lost the joy of, like, persevering, right?
Kind of, but I don't think it will be that simple with this power. But still, if you got too much power, then you need to fight supervillains for people. So I think that's too much of a responsibilities for me. I can't do that.
Yeah. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, dude, exactly. That's why I love the movie SpiderMan, like the first version, so much, because he's exactly what normal people would do when they got their powers. Like, find money at like the boxing clubs, not like save the city. That's ridiculous.
True. And he's like, I believe he's the youngest, right? The youngest superhero, like teenager superhero-ish.
Like the first version with Tobey Maguire, I don't think so, but like Tom Holland, yeah.
I'm not that big of a fan, but I believe I've watched them, but my memory isn't good.
You already remember the meme, right? Like, I'm something of a scientist myself.
By the way, I realized I forgot to talk about this. I've heard that time is actually not constant. Believe it or not, time is relative, depends on like the relative velocity. I've heard that if you travel faster, your time moves quicker or things like that. So it depends on perspectives, and I feel like I've heard a story of like a person orbiting around Earth or something like that. When he came back, he's actually older than people on Earth because of like the relative velocity. And yeah, that's just like my brain really hurts when I heard of that. And yeah, time is not constant, believe it or not. I believe that it's just a way for like human to explain the universe, but like how much have you experienced? But actually it's quite tricky. It's actually a paradox, I believe.
There's also there's a thought experiment that I have told you. It's called like the cave planet, where time on cave planet move a lot faster than time on people on Earth. So we decided to give criminals punishments that will send them to cave planet and make them spend their times there instead of spend their time on normal prison. Do you think that is justified or anything? Because the concept of prison, one of the concepts in prison is to prevent people from committing further crimes, right? And when you send them there, they just can't commit any crime anymore because they'll be like so old. And the punishment they receive is basically missing out their lives with their people. What do you think?
But I think it depends on the facility on that planet. Like, if they're sent there, then what are they gonna do? Do they have food provided? Or I've heard that like one of the most scariest, the most cruel prison these days are actually like white prison, that everything like is white. It somehow tricked your brain or something, and that's just like very bad psychologically. So like if there's like that white room and everything looks plain, the food look plain, and on that planet and you have nothing to do. I think it's very cruel and it's not very fair. But if like you got like luxurious hotel up there on that planet, then well, it would be too easy for the criminals. But yeah, it depends.
If it's like just a normal person, like standards, qualities,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think? Like the punishment itself is like missing out your life. When you come back, your newborn daughter has already died.
I think that's so scary, but I don't think it will work on like all people, or it depends on like I believe firstly it depends on the severity of their crime, and also it depends on like who they are, whether they're gonna care it or not. If they don't have any family or relative or friends, then it's not gonna affect them much, I believe.
It would be like Captain America, right? Come back. He have friends and families, but like, I mean, there's also an effect in like, coming back and everything is not the same anymore. You're gonna have a hard time integrating back into the society.
That's true. Like how fast is like the time there compared to Earth?
Like
Do you think?
really, like
It's-
one year equal 20 year on Earth.
Mm-hmm. So 20 times faster. I think yeah, it would be hard. Like you'll be left out with many things. So maybe when you're back on Earth, there must be like a program. Like usually for typical criminal, you have to like have the program to let them slowly integrate it back into the society or things like that. So
Yeah, like you're on watch and you're like on probation. There are like two phases, I believe. Like first phase is then you gather with other released prisoners and then you guys talk about how you're gonna do back in the society, and then other phase is probation and you went to live out there, but if you do anything wrong, you're back. Yeah. So another thing that has been a big topic recently is that China, I don't know if this is true or not, but China has just greenlighted a genetically engineered baby.
Huh? Oh, I've heard of it somewhere too, but I'm not sure if it's true or not as well. And that is so scary. I feel like it's weird to be choosing like, oh, I want my baby to have this eye color, this skin color. I think it will raise more like racial discrimination. Like, well, I believe that is already a huge problem in China already, but it will be even scarier. If you modify your child until that child is like nothing like you, then what's the point? I feel like it will be very scary. It will be hard to identify like who their parents really are.
Yeah, and also I think that this is like turning your child into some sort of scary simulator, right? If you want to also customize their physical appearance, you also want to customize. I don't know if it's possible to like customize their cleverness, customize their athleticism. It's basically like creepy version of the Sim.
Yeah, it's real life, and I've heard that it's not. I don't think it's that ethical to do so. I'm not sure, but that is a very scary topic.
But like I think there will be limitation as well. Like have you ever played games and give like your character a status? You can't like max it all. You just need to spend your stat points smartly. Oh, that's so scary. Using that analogy doesn't make anything better. But like, imagine I kind of get it why China would greenlight something like that, because like, recently people in China has been saying like we want no kids. We won't have any kids anymore after you tamper with my womb. I'm not going to have any kids for you. So they're trying to, encourage more, family rates because people are China was like, yeah, it's better to be single. It's
But
better to not have any kids.
I believe that is like partly because of the density of population in China is rather high. Yeah, and like you have like the one child policy and everything. I'm not sure if that is like a modern policy anymore.
It's lifted, and it's like they are encouraging people to have like 3 kids because
3?
the birth rate is so low. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody wants kids when the environment is so competitive like that.
True.
Like, how much do you need to pay for a child in order for him or her to complete his education or her education?
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't need to even talk about China. Let's look at us, how we pay for like, our tuition fee.
Yeah, that's expensive. Having a child is so expensive, and it's like a lifelong investment.
That's exactly what I think. But like, you don't know whether this investment will pay you back. It's like the riskiest investment ever.
And you can't like quit being a parent. Like the moment you decide you're gonna have a child, it's forever.
Oh, well, you can technically, give your child away, but don't do that.
No,
Please.
don't do that. That's not good.
But I mean, the decision not to have a child because they think they can't is a lot better than the decision to have a child when they can't. Right?
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Still, okay, there's another option comes up. Like, you could make your kid very smart and ensure his or her future, making your investment a little less risky.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, assuming you're the parents of the people in 2200, will you even consider this?
Consider like genetically modified my kids.
Yeah.
If like a little bit like removing some cancer genes or things like that, I would do that, but I don't think I wanna alter their appearance. Like, sure, some trait might be great, but like I think it's a beauty. Like, imperfection is beauty as well. Like, if you're like, for example, I might go back to K-pop stars again. I feel like their faces are too perfect. They look exactly like dolls, and I'm terrified whenever I see their faces. I think it's not like natural anymore if you adjust it too much, and I feel like if you have like distinct features, even though it's imperfect, but it's you, it's like distinctively you, it's because like the process of like reproduction is sort of random. I think it's part of like the beauty of nature, and I don't want to alter it too much.
Yeah, you're right. And the part that makes K-pop people look basically the same is probably their makeups too,
Mm-hmm.
because their makeup and their skin complexion are so alike. It makes me realize how much humans do actually look alike. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's very few that will stand out of the group. Oh, I don't know. But imagine if your child go to the school and your child is the only person who look like that, and the other people are. What would be the mentality of the child? Imagine when you.
To be honest, I believe that like this genetically modified kids, these techniques will be restricted to a certain level because of obviously like racial discrimination. I feel like it's not like, if that happens, then many people will want to like modify their kids until they're like quote unquote perfect in their eyes, but it's like the characteristic of their race are basically gone if like they modify it too much. So I think to prevent sort of like extinction of different race, there might be some laws about like modifying your genetics.
Yeah, but there might be laws about genetically modifying the child's face, but in the future, assuming that we discover some genes that control the cleverness, the athleticism,
Mm-hmm.
other artistic abilities,
Mm-hmm.
if we all modified that, the law consider it totally right, because why don't we want more useful human resources in our world?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's justified for people to just genetically modify their kids?
Superhuman. Oh, that's a tough question again, but it's not. Well, if from speaking like scientifically speaking, I believe that it's not that easy. It's not like there's a single gene to do that. There are multiple of them, and multiple of them play in like multiple area. I don't think like only genetically modified people will like give them super strength right away. They might be like slightly better, like having more slightly more muscle, having more neurons or things like that, but I don't think it's gonna like work right away. Like lots of factors also comes from environment as well, so it's tricky. But if that were to be like a case, that if that were to become a reality, I believe that still I don't think it's completely right, but I can see people try to justify it and eventually like use it. But yeah.
True. Well, okay. This is two like realistic sides of our podcast. So I want to try to talk about something more creative.
Mm-hmm.
So if one day you're bestowed your abilities, like God finally decide to give it to you, will you decide to go out, save the people, and do what the Avengers do? Because you can, and it will be very easy.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, for me, I'm gonna live my life first, because I know that if I live my life first, I know at the end of the day, I feel like people are gonna discover my ability anyway, right? And after I'm being discovered, they're gonna use me for experiments. They're gonna use me for like all the protection roles, being the so-called Avengers. So at the beginning, I want to live my life first. Like I want to live my life however I want it. Like it doesn't have to be like helping people. It depends on like my mood on the day, I believe. Like what I want to do, and then eventually, I might be like discovered, like accidentally discovered, or I might turn myself in and like announce to everyone eventually after I've lived my life for even just a little bit. Yeah, and like eventually help people.
Well, for me, I wouldn't really want to be a superhero, because I feel like if you turn yourself into a superhero, like 2/3 of your time are spent on like saving people, and nobody's paying you for that. And you got people at home that you need to save as well. You got yourself to save as well. And I know it sounds selfish, but like we have different ways of like helping people, and I believe that being a superhero and having superpower, like it is shown in so many movies, that it actually encourages crime to process as well. Crimes are becoming a lot crazier, and superheroes cannot always be there to save people. And these advanced crime, with advanced weapons, with advanced techniques, they're going to harm even more people, I believe.
That's interesting. And also you can say that anyone in the society actually can help everything. You don't have to have like the superpower in order to do good things to help people. Like you can be ordinary and do good things too. So yeah.
And that brings us to the next question. If everybody else in the world have like unique, different superpower, and you're the only one who didn't have it, so what will you do? Oh, actually, basically the answer is nothing. But what kind of mindset you go into that world? What you bring to that world?
I would say that my superpower is being ordinary.
Yeah, exactly. But like, there there are people like you, very few, but like three in millions.
Uh-huh.
So what would you?
That
what
would
would be
be
your feelings and your positive mindset?
that would be quite sad, but well, if you want to be a bit optimistic, you can think of it as like, well, I have an opportunity to push myself more than others, even though I believe that like the result is not the thing to determine whether it's beneficial or have you put like hard work into it or not. So like if you aim for the same result with the person with more superpower, you can think of it like you can be more proud if like you achieve the same goal, even though you have to persevere more than the other person.
True, but the thing that I actually thought about this, but so the thing about the world with people with superpowers, that I think the dynamic of the occupation will drastically change, right?
Yeah.
Like if you are born with this certain superpower, there might be some certain careers that you're destined to.
Exactly.
And for me, the career that basically fit the people with like no power at all, if he or she is like, a very few people who didn't have power, I think it will be a very perfect opportunity to be a writer.
A writer.
Because you have the experience that is so rare that nobody has.
Yeah.
You basically just can do anything with that. Just live your life and become a writer.
Wow.
You might fail,
That's
of
so
course.
Cool.
And but yeah, some people can argue that okay, what if the books didn't sell, because most famous books didn't sell at the first place. You might die in tragic mode, or you might turn old and sour. Oh, that's fine.
That's
just
fine.
like reverse engineer that thought. Well, when you are an artist or you are an author creating something, don't think of it as something that will achieve goals in a near future. Think of it as something that is just waiting for the time to explode. So you can create without worrying whether your work will succeed or not.
Just
because it will one day.
It will. Wow.
Like our podcast.
Wow. I hope so. Like talking about occupation, if like our world turns into the Incredibles world where like everyone without exception has the superpower, like what do you think, like which superpower would be great for which occupation? What do you think? Do you have like any examples in mind?
Well, definitely invisibility for like spies, and for teacher I think it's like reading minds, because you need to keep track of your students. Also police as well,
I believe it.
And like for doctor, super speed.
Super speed? Oh, for like surgery. Oh.
Yeah.
I believe it. I feel like mind reading would be great for a psychiatrist as well, because like you have to analyze patients. And I feel like like super speed can also be like delivery man as well. There is literally like a company called Flash. So yeah.
There are also many occupations. Super strength would be very, very great in
like
gym teacher.
Oh, sure.
Also like firefighters.
Construction workers. But to be honest, I don't think these people should be soldiers or police, because they have too much force, and recently there's been like a lot of case with like police brutality. I don't think maybe like having android as police officers instead of a human might be better. Because they actually stay in line. And to be honest, I've thought about this like a couple of times before. I think like the ability to control water is low-key extremely powerful. I think it would be very scary, because 60% of human body is composed of water, right? So you can kill someone like instantly. You can like freeze that person. You can clog their blood vessel. You can change the stream of their blood or whatever. That could be very lethal, and I just can't believe like when talking about like controlling water, it seems to be like a gentle superpower, but in reality you might be able to like control a person just by controlling the water in that person.
Yeah. That's very scary, and I think that every power, if harnessed right, can be used as very lethal weapons. Like, have you seen Magneto? Like, I believe in some of his old school films, it's like he was locked in a room of plastic, and then somebody visited him, and he like drained the
Iron,
I don't
right?
know if this is possible, right? Iron element out of the body.
Yeah, I've watched that too. That's so scary.
Good.
But okay.
Like, if you know how to use the power right, anything can be powerful. Like, if you can control fire, it means that you can control heat, which is... Or if you can control time, for example, you can just turn some people old and die. Done. Your job is done. Right?
Yeah. Or you can just like turn them into babies and they won't know anything.
Yeah, that's...
Or turn them back into like the stage of embryo.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a very valid option. So I think that like if we assume that the world of superpower is the world that people know how to use their power, the battles is going to end in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I believe like the best way if you are in the middle of that war is to just protect yourself and don't like inflict harms on anyone. And just protect yourself first.
Basically, don't stay in sight of any superpower ever. So that's why invisibility is probably also good, because you stay out of sight.
True, but yeah, I if you like completely disappeared, like completely invisible, like you don't have any heat, you don't have any magnetic field around you, you don't have like the breathing sound come out, I think it would be like better if it's like seamless. But yeah, sure. But at the end of the day, I believe there might be some superpower that could detect you and kill you at the end of the day. So
but that's the one thing that is so good about the superpower world, is like there's so many people in the world, and there will be people who can like eradicate you. So keep that knowledge in mind, and you stay in check, stay in line. don't do any bad things.
Yeah, thinking about that, I think maybe like the government might invent some sort of like collar or bracelet for their citizens to wear to like control their power to like certain limits so that this society can function.
I think so, and like, but like collar seems like an slavery idea, and it also sounds... So maybe
it sounds very depressing.
So maybe like a bracelet, or trackers inside your brain, or it sounds even worse.
Yeah. But yeah, there should be a way to control, or maybe the leaders themselves might be like a person that can control everyone's power, so they be the leader, like control the limit of that. But they don't have superpowers themselves. They just can like increase the intensity or lower the intensity of the power.
Yeah, that's true. And like, you might allow certain people of like certain occupation to have more power than the others. Like for psychiatrists, you will give them like power of reading minds more than the teacher needs, right?
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, then I think that's it for this episode. The question would be, what is your dream superpower, and what will you do with it?
And you can send us your answers to let's talk stupid, that's stupid@gmail.com, and you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. It's all Let's Talk Stupid. Yay.
Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.
See you.